All right, so I just saw a announcement stating that John Mateer is going to be out for, it doesn't actually say how long. It says John Mateer will have surgery Wednesday and will miss time. Michael Hawkins Jr. will be the Sooners quarterback this week against Kent State. All right, this is what I was saying. Part of football, part of the season is all about endurance. You got to be able to play the long game. Let's be clear here. First of all, you already have the fact that, I'm looking up their schedule. You already have the fact that this is the SEC. These guys are going to cannibalize each other. They're going to beat up on each other. And when John Mateer does come back, who's to say he's not going to re-injure that hand? Because he's probably going to rush back. I'm going to look at their schedule here. I just pulled it up. They got Kent State. You getting surgery. It's going to take time to heal up. I don't care. And they're not being clear about how much time. So let's just throw a number out there. You're going to miss at least 3 games. But it's surgery. So you need time to heal up. It needs time to close up. Let's throw out 5-6 games, okay? 2 months worth of football. Let's throw that out there. Oklahoma might not even be in the running for the SEC championship anymore. Now, that defense is still legit. The defense can definitely help them win games. And if I'm Brent Venables, that's all I'm preaching all week. Yes, work on the offense. Defense is how we're going to win these games. We need to score on defense. We need to score on special teams. I want my best athlete back there on special teams in these coming weeks. We need to find a way to manufacture points outside of offense. Whatever we happen to get from the offensive side, awesome. That's icing on the cake. But I'm not depending on icing on that side no more, because we saw Michael Hawkins Jr. last year. Maybe he's grown. Maybe he's grown being around Mateer and watching Mateer and whatnot, but we've seen that already. Well, luckily, this is a bye week, so they're blessed in that fashion. They already got 1 week's worth of time for John Mateer to heal up. Afterwards, though, they got Kent State. That's a W, regardless of who's at quarterback. Then you got Texas. I don't know who Texas is anymore. I do believe there's going to come a time where Arch is going to shoot up like a rocket, and he's going to get extremely confident, and he's going to be... I think Arch Manning's comp is somewhat like Josh Allen. That's just me being real. He's not there yet. He's a very, very raw version of a Josh Allen. And so there's going to come a time where they're going to be really dangerous. They're not there yet, but Texas got a great defense too. So Texas is going to give Oklahoma's offense hell. Texas might score on the defensive side of the ball. So you got Texas and Oklahoma. That's their second game. Then you got Oklahoma and South Carolina. And then you got Oklahoma versus Ole Miss. And then you got Oklahoma versus Tennessee. And that's at Tennessee. The game against South Carolina, that's at South Carolina. And then you got Oklahoma at Alabama. And then you got Missouri coming to Oklahoma. And then you got LSU, Oklahoma. They ain't got but 7 games left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left. And this is the hardest part of their schedule. And this is when the surgery is happening. They're done. Stick a fork in them. Oklahoma, if they get out of this with just 1 loss, oh my goodness, they've found a way thus far to still be in contention. But let's be clear. Like I said, did John Mateer rush back? Because if he rushed back, you mean to tell me there's not some kind of defensive player, linebacker, safety, lineman that's not going to accidentally or just straight up on purpose target his hand? He needs low-key a whole year to heal. You're throwing the ball with that hand, plus you're running all the damn time. So there are plenty of plays where you're getting contact when you really needed not to get contact. So this is what I was saying when I made that video just a couple of days ago about the Florida Gators. This is the long game. I know it feels crazy week after week. I've felt crazy week after week. That game against USF, oh my gosh, I was so sick. So sick. Couldn't believe it. But you got to play the long game. I mean, Oklahoma's defense is really great, but Tennessee, that's their specialty right now, is their offense. Ole Miss, we'll see what happens. Don't know much about Ole Miss yet. Still trying to get to know them. Got a young quarterback in there. Got to get to know them. Texas, and then you got Missouri. They look great. LSU, they look good. I could see them losing at least 2 games here. At least. They could lose 3 games. They could lose 4. They could mess around and literally lose to South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, and LSU. They could lose to Missouri. It's all up in the air now. So Not even just for Gator fans. All SEC teams play the long game. Don't worry about what's going on specifically week in, week out. It's okay. Majority of times it's okay. I think any SEC team that gets 2 losses, they're the fringe team that's on the outside looking in. The SEC teams that end up with 1 loss, those are the teams to keep your eyes on. The Gators have already absorbed the 1 loss that they would be allowed. All right. Now they got Texas. They can't lose to Texas, can't lose to Texas A&M. Then they got quite a few other teams on here, Georgia, Tennessee, etc. Can't lose to anybody else. The Gators can no longer lose to any other teams on their schedule except for Florida State. That's the only game they're allowed to lose if they're going to go to the SEC championship game and still have a chance to play in the college football playoff. This is very real what I'm saying. A lot of people think I'm crazy for saying this. It feels crazy because it is crazy. But that's one of the cool things about the college football playoff. You got the SEC title game and you still have a chance to compete. But Oklahoma's in trouble. Oklahoma's in trouble. And listen, every SEC team, they're going to go through the gauntlet and they're going to play against somebody that's got their number. So expect every SEC team to come out with at least 1 loss. There's no SEC team right now, just off the top of my head, that has an impact player like Ohio State has with Jeremiah Smith. There are none. Last season, Ohio State had Jeremiah, Quinshawn, Travion. Those 3 guys alone were doing it, but they also had Caleb Downs. They got Caleb still this year. Very, very impactful players. In the SEC, you got, some of the top players are quarterbacks, and that's great, but that's also very dangerous because those guys get hit every single play. Lenore Sellers literally just got a concussion the other day. Who is LSU's best player? I don't know. It looks like it's their defense as a whole. Oklahoma's best player was John Mateer, and I would say he's probably been the only X-factor impact player on that team. And now he's gone or missing or going to be missing quite a few games. As far as the rest of the SEC, I don't know who those players are. You can't look at Georgia and say they have that guy. You can't look at Tennessee and say they have that guy. Maybe that wide receiver, I forget his name. I think he's wearing number 4. Maybe him. Joey Aguilar is really throwing the ball up there and giving him a chance. Mississippi State, who knows? Texas A&M. Marcel Reed is coming on strong. They got 2 really good wide receivers with Concepcion and I forget the other guy's name. But I wouldn't say they're X-factor impact players. We're still getting to know these guys on those squads. And we all know Texas don't got that guy. We all know Texas does not have that player. So the SEC is wide ass open. On another note, I want to talk about Deion Sanders. I think Deion Sanders is delirious. I heard him talking about, he was talking to 2 other talking heads, talking about Shedeur and the draft and how Philadelphia and Baltimore called and instead, they turned those down. I think that was so stupid. And of course, Deion is in the interviews talking about how people can't say that something is stupid because this, that, and the third. Deion is always gaslighting people. He's always gaslighting the media specifically, and he's always gaslighting people that he deems are non-believers. And then he uses Jesus as like this shield of like his greatness or of like his wisdom. Deion, you be fucking up, bro. You fucked up. You are not a good coach, first of all, and you have not coached that team an ounce. You don't do anything to coach those guys. You're actually a very bad football coach. You're basically not a real coach. You basically lined Travis Hunter out there, told him to go do what he wanted to do. You never really had a defensive scheme, and that's why y'all lost to Kansas State, because you didn't have no real scheme to take away their best players. They didn't even have that many good players last season, and y'all still lost that game, and you needed it. And of course, you ask him about it, he's going to sit there and take the high road and talk about Jesus and so on and so forth. Deion could basically be a politician, the way he be talking and subverting what people are asking him and questioning him. And he's almost just moving through the media like he's got like just political power, because he's even making people agree with him when he's not making no sense. You literally have Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, 2 guys who are the perfect example of people who waited long to play. Those are 2 long examples. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. Jordan, I think, waited 3 seasons, 2 to 3 seasons. Aaron waited 3 to 4 seasons, or that's vice versa. I would say it helped both of them out tremendously. Look at what happened to Trey Lance. Ain't seen him since. You keep trying to rush and get on the field, you're going to fuck around and find out. Sometimes you're not ready. I think Cam Ward is ready. He's more ready physically, mentally. Does he have weaknesses in his game? Yeah, sure. Every quarterback does. Jared Goff got weaknesses in his game. Stafford got weaknesses in his game. Brady had weaknesses in his game. They all do. But your son's weaknesses are based on your lack of coaching and you just allowing him to do whatever he wants to, as opposed to making sure he's learning certain lessons in college, like protection and figuring out how to speak to his offensive line. You didn't implement any of that into his psyche, and now he thinks he can just go to the NFL and they're just supposed to block for him. He's got to understand those things and he's got to be able to express those things, but he didn't learn none of that at Colorado. But since he got stats at Colorado, team didn't win nothing, didn't even win their bowl game, but the boy got his name up in the rafters. It's all an example of a beautiful disaster. A dad who's being a really great dad, but an awful football coach and mentor. Awful. The opportunity to play behind potentially Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson. Totally understand that you feel like you're going to be backing those guys up for 10 seasons. Who said you got to back them up for 10 seasons? Why you can't go over there as a rookie and genuinely learn from those guys? Tom Brady learned from who was in front of him. Drew Bledsoe. Patrick Mahomes learned from Alex Smith. That is important. That is like a legitimate important part of someone's NFL career. And Deion is putting his cornerback psyche all throughout what he's doing. He's doing it as a coach and he's doing it as a father figure, mentor, agent, manager, etc. It's not a good look. I say that because the cornerbacks on Colorado, he always wanted to play man. They always playing man, but it's like sometimes those corners ain't the ones that can play man. I'm watching them. They're not that good. A lot of those guys are not only undersized, but kind of like, I would say, C- level, really, when it boils down to it. Like, they're getting toasted this season a lot more, and it's because there's a lot less athleticism back there. But they were never really rotating guys in, meeting running backs at the line of scrimmage. They weren't playing real scheme-like football, and this was week in and week out. And that's why Colorado wasn't able to beat certain teams when they really needed to. They weren't able to beat BYU, Kansas State, Nebraska, and they took one more L last season, Kansas. And that's because they don't know how to scheme coming up and hitting and playing physical. All those games they lost, those teams played more physical than them. And that sounds like a cornerback. That sounds like Deion Sanders as an NFL player. I'm going to be back here looking pretty, doing my thing, and I'm going to stop you anytime you put the ball in the air. But when it's time for me to come up there and meet you, I'll meet you, but I'm going to meet you on my time. Lamar Jackson could easily get hurt one day. And then guess who's coming in to back up Lamar Jackson? It would be Shedeur Sanders getting a chance in the playoffs potentially. He'd be essentially, this is the part that you really end up missing. You end up giving up an opportunity for him to be on a team that's more than likely going to go to the playoffs and more than likely going to have a lot of great pieces around him, versus him going to a team where he's allegedly going to change the program. This is or the organization. He just did everything his way, easy, the way he preferred. Skipped out on the Senior Bowl. Didn't go do all the meetings. Didn't take all the calls with all the teams. There was plenty of other teams that would have needed a quarterback. The fact that the New Orleans Saints picked Tyler Shuck lets you know they didn't like something about you, and that it matters. These coaches need to be able to foresee a good relationship between coach and player. And if they're catching vibes in the meetings that the vibes aren't there, what the hell I'm bringing you in for? It pains me to say it a little bit because, nobody else in the black community specifically is talking about him, and nobody in the black community in the media specifically is talking about him because they don't want to. They don't want to be, and people love Prime, so nobody want to say nothing. Everybody just kind of avoids it. And you could see it, especially Unc and Ocho. You could see it every single time they broach one of these topics, they just kind of drop it by the wayside. They try not to say much at all.
Shedeur did not want to be drafted by Baltimore and preferred to end up in a place where he might have a better chance to play sooner. The Ravens instead drafted an offensive lineman, Carson Vincent, with the 141st pick. I'm going to go ahead.
I hope Colorado does still get to go to a bowl game, because the kids there, those young men that are there, I'd like to see them be successful. And I imagine that a lot of them are probably getting a lot less attention to detail now that his son is not around. Maybe he's trying to do more. It don't seem like it, though. He's all over the place. Already done swapped his quarterback out. It's ridiculous. It feels like what's going on over there is just all over the place. People keep talking about Nico Iamaleava, saying his career's over, he ruined his life, and yo, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that people love having something to talk about. A lot of you guys who are saying this stuff aren't making no sense. He is a young dude, young kid, young man, sophomore. He can literally transfer and leave UCLA and start over. He can literally leave UCLA and go to a place like, there are a few schools, in my opinion, where I think Nico could go, should go, would go, and it's a restart. And that's okay. Will he have that bad PR from the past? Yes. But he'll also be able to say he has something that he learned from at an early age. He can leave, though. And there are a few schools I would imagine that would be really, really good for him. You know, I think Nico Iamaleava would actually do really well to go to Colorado. I think that would be a great place for him, because I think he can throw the hell out the ball. They can make it just what they are accustomed to doing already with that 7-on-7 energy. And I think he would probably light Colorado up. But I think he can go to other places too, like the University of Miami. He doesn't come off as the right guy for Miami because he doesn't seem like he has a voice. He doesn't seem like a leader. So he might be better off going to a place where there is no need for that per se, because there's not necessarily that much of an expectation for it like Colorado. And then he can compete on a still a top level, but not the highest level as far as the Big 12 goes. He can compete on that level, dominate on that level, go to the playoffs, and there's no reason why, he can't end up still being a, second round, third round, fourth round quarterback, depending on how well he does out there. And that's just one school I'm mentioning. There are a ton. LSU, Penn State, Miami. Not sure what Jordan Castellano's situation is as far as if he's a senior or junior. Florida State will be a good place to go. And then I wrote a couple other ones here. Clemson, North Carolina, maybe, if you can get a recruiter too. You mess around and you can get Trey Wilson to come over to North Carolina with you, somebody that you can throw the ball to, 2 wide receivers over there, try to get a running back, try to recruit. Washington, not sure though, because they got a guy over there who's really nice with it. But yeah, those are just a few short schools, and this is just a short list. And I just think people got to chill. Just people are just doing a lot with the whole Nico, I'ma leave you. You feel me? People just doing a lot with the whole thing. Like, bro, it's okay. It's okay, bro. Like, this man has a football life. He's got a football journey. He needs that journey. He needs these sacks, theoretically, He needs this. He needs to experience what happens when you leave a good program and go to a bad program. That's what happens to a lot of, look at Cam Ward. He just went from the University of Miami, where these boys was almost going to the college football playoff, and now he's on the Tennessee Titans, and they are 0-3. You got to experience those lumps sometimes, because that helps build you up, and you start to learn. No, I don't like the way we're moving. This is the way we're moving is like a team that ends up being winless. We're gonna have to do some things different. Player only meeting. You know what? We're gonna have to start meeting here every day at 5. We're gonna have to start doing this because some guys are dropping little details that are just more important. These guys got to go through this stuff. Miami's almost got a brand now where they rehabilitate quarterbacks' careers. Cam Ward, the year before, was going to go to the NFL draft. They were telling him 6th round, 5th, 6th, 7th round. Went to the University of Miami. Now he went number 1. So it's okay. It's really not that big of a deal that Nico fucked up and left Tennessee and went to UCLA. Okay, so what? Yeah, Tennessee was a great program. That looked great. They just made it to the playoffs. I get it. Why can't he leave and start over? He'll be a junior. I mean, we just getting to know John Mateer, and this is about to be his last season. We just got to know Cam Ward last year, and that was his last season. We only need one really great season from these guys, and these guys need to get their time in college. They need their 4 years in college where they fuck up a little bit and do this, that, and the third. Look at Carson Beck last year. I mean, he went into the start of the season as a projected top 10 pick, first round for sure. That fell off terribly. He leaves Georgia, top school in all of college football, And now he's at Miami, and everybody's starting these conversations back up, like Carson Beck. Oh, it looks great. So dig. If you got to this part of the video, really appreciate you staying here, vibing with me. Let me know what you think about some of my comments. You can leave a comment below if you agree with me, disagree with me, how you feel about the Deion comments that I made. I'm sure some of you are probably like, blasphemy. Can't believe he would say that about one of our own. Let me know how you feel. I'll respond. Might end up having to make a video about what you say if it pisses me off too much, or whatever. We'll see, and let me know what you thought I had to say about Oklahoma and John Mateer, Florida Gators, and their chance to mess around, crawl their way back into the SEC title game. Y'all let me know, because I don't know who else people are going to say it should be. Alabama's got plenty of tough games this season, so they can lose. LSU got tough games this season. They can lose. Ole Miss can lose. They all can lose. And not one of them got a Jeremiah Smith where you just know we can go to that guy, or we know everybody's watching that guy, so let's go to this guy. They don't have that. These teams don't have that. So yeah. But guys, listen, I'm out of here. I got some work to do, some editing to do. Peace. Oh, can you subscribe, please? I really appreciate it. All right.